The action of the film begins in the 2008 year on the tropical island of St. Hubert. There is a research laboratory where resurrected dinosaurs are studied. Neglect of safety precautions and a wrapper from a Snickers bar leads to an emergency situation, because of which the staff evacuates. One of the scientists does not have time to get out of the laboratory. Trying to help him, a colleague sees Distortus Rex appear behind the poor guy's back. The result of the selective work of local geneticists, similar to a xenomorph. The monster devours the stranded scientist. The story is carried forward 17 years. The resurrected dinosaurs could have spread all over the Earth. But the harsh climate forces them to live in a tropical zone near the equator. Individuals climb away like a giant, because of which a traffic jam has formed in New York. Martin, a pharmaceutical company representative, meets with Zora, an expert on covert operations. He wants to hire a girl for an operation that is not entirely legal, but she refuses for her own reasons. Nevertheless, Martin manages to convince her with the promise of a fee, thanks to which she will no longer have to work. But for their successful execution, they need a civilian specialist paleontologist, Henry, who is dismissed from the museum. Martin explains that their task will be to extract blood samples of 3 giant dinosaurs, waterfowl, flying, and walking. This will help doctors create a medicine that prevents heart disease. The company will make a lot of money, as well as the mercenaries, if they return alive. The girl and the paleontologist agree. The whole of Cahal is flying to Suriname to charter the boat of an old acquaintance of Zora Duncan. A security specialist is listed among the crew. Although his name is Bobby, everyone knows it's Francis. After discussing the details of the difficult case and admiring the jaw of the caught dinosaur, the team continues the journey. The mercenaries are moving towards the island of St. Hubert for the first sample, an aquatic mosasaur. On the way, they inspect equipment, syringes for taking blood samples. The latter can not only suck up DNA, but also shoot the capsule up so that it then descends by parachute. A paleontologist is called to shoot dinosaurs with a gun, but Zora, taking him to the bow of the ship, shows that from this position, accuracy is lame even for experienced shooters. At the same time, Ruben Delgado's yacht is hanging around in the same area. The man went on vacation with his daughters Teresa and Isabella, as well as Javier, Teresa's boyfriend. They see the crests of a couple of spinosaurs, after which they stumble upon a mosasaur. Playfully splashing in search of prey, the giant unobtrusively capsizes the yacht. Javier finds himself locked in the cabin when the boat capsizes. Ruben tries to save the young man, after which he finds himself on the bottom with his daughters. Javier, discarded by the mast, floats up in the distance, paddling towards them when a mosasaur chases him. The guy barely manages to get to the boat, forcing the lizard to turn away. In the evening, the mercenary ship receives a distress signal from the wrecked Delgado family. They are surprised, since swimming is prohibited in this area, but decide to go to the rescue, despite the secrecy of the mission, and disagreements on this issue among the crew. After a while, Duncan's boat finds an overturned yacht, and the hapless tourists are hoisted on board. The task continues. The mercenaries track down the mosasaur to take a blood sample. During the confrontation, Zora runs to the bow with a gun, asking Henry to fix her with ropes. The cunning beast dives, raising a wave, causing the girl to miss. Then the dinosaur cuts the ship, and Zora falls overboard. But advance insurance holds up. When Henry picks her up, she smacks the object. After being hit, the syringe is filled with blood, shooting up, and the sailors catch a parachute with a capsule. However, getting to the island is not so easy. Spinosaurs, which hunt together with the older mosasaur, surround the boat. Bobby tries to drive the animals away with machine gun shots, but achieves exactly the opposite result. The animals attack him and make a prehistoric peace. After that, the dinosaurs wobble the boat, causing a roll. Passengers almost fall into the water, which is teeming with hungry predators. Ruben barely manages to save Isabella from the giant teeth. To shake off the tailed lizards from the tail, Duncan leads the boat to the coastal reefs, hoping to fish there. Fearing that they will crash, Ruben tells Teresa to send a distress signal on the radio. Martin, worried about the success of the mission, asks the girl not to tell anyone their coordinates. A quarrel between them leads to Teresa falling overboard. The pharmacist is in no hurry to help her, hoping that in this way, the conflict with itself will be exhausted. However, as soon as Teresa falls into the water, her boyfriend Javier jumps after her. Ruben, suspecting something is wrong, along with his younger daughter, also leaves the board. The boat is moving towards the rocks when the mosasaur attacks it, damaging the sides and lapping it to the shore. The crew is landing at sea. Only Duncan remains at the helm. Unable to slow down, he takes off with the boat to the beach of St. Hubert. Soon the rest of the expedition members arrive there together with the cargo. When a Spinosaurus grabs a woman from the crew, the mercenaries realize that this is not Sochi. They are not welcome here. But they have a task that needs to be completed. Zora reminds her frustrated colleagues about this, also informing them that a helicopter hired by her will arrive for them in a day. Only it will land on the other side of the island. After snacking on a steel cable that protects the beach from the rest of the island, the girl leads the team deep into the jungle. On the way, Zora asks Martin how it happened that Teresa fell overboard, and he did not even try to help her. The pharmacist denies the vile accusations against him, as long as the group is moving waist-deep in water through the swamp. Later, while filling a flask in the river, Martin notices soldiers' tokens in the water. They fell off the pilot, stuck in the branches above the helicopter's head. Noticing the pilot's service pistol, Martin carefully takes the weapon. The Delgado family and Javier swim to the shore, where they climb to the island through the grotto. They also go deeper into the wilds away from the shore, but when they notice a stir in the thickets, they change the direction of the route. Having settled down for the night, the guy volunteers to keep watch. When he goes to get firewood, Isabella sees a small Aquilops dinosaur that came out to people in search of food. The girl feeds him until he goes to sleep next to her. Javier at this time goes to take a leak, not noticing that a couple of bicycle therapists are hunting for him. From the fate of being eaten, the guy is saved by a pterosaur swooping down on the hunters, who decided to eat them. In the morning, Zora's group, walking through meter-long reeds, stumbles upon a couple of titanosaurs. Being herbivores, lizards do not pay attention to the people swarming at their feet, especially since they have a mating season in full swing. Thanks to this, their species has multiplied quite well in the territory. Seizing the moment, Zora pulls out a rifle and gets the second necessary blood sample. Now it remains for them to get the DNA of the flying Quetzalcoatlus. Delgado, making their way through the jungle, roll down the mountainside, straight to the riverbank. On the other side, Teresa notices a small pier and a landing vehicle. Deciding that there may be something useful inside, the girl wades across the river. On the shore, she sees the bitten corpse of a dinosaur, on which a Dilophosaurus is feasting. The lizard glares at the girl, but, frightened of something, runs away. The cause of the fright was a Tyrannosaurus rex dozing in the grass nearby. Trying not to wake the predator, Teresa sneaks into the car, where she finds a backpack with an inflatable boat. Pulling it out, the girl activates the boat, but at that moment the Tyrannosaurus wakes up. While the lizard is drowsily slurping water, as if it celebrated World Extinction Day yesterday, Teresa paddles to the other shore to pick up her family. However, when they sail away, the Tyrannosaurus wonders what it is that is so delicious floating there. The giant gives chase, plunging deeper into the water. Although he is not a waterfowl, but with his size, this is not his problem. Having caught up with the fugitives, he turns the boat over with a blow of his muzzle, which makes the little people splash in the river like meatballs in soup. The Tyrannosaurus tries to fish them out of the water, but they insidiously dive, continuing to swim further. When they reach the narrow passage formed by the stones, people realize that the younger Isabella remained in the water. A girl is swimming under an overturned boat. The Tyrannosaurus, realizing that this is all that is left, grabs the boat with his teeth. Deprived of shelter, Isabella swims on to catch up to the narrow passage, where the predator's head just won't get through. The lizard, upset in the best of feelings, leaves, and the people are left with an intact boat. She squeezed into the gorge, and even the turbulent current did not carry her away. At this time, Zora's brigade climbs to the top of the mountain to descend from the cliff on ropes to the nest of Quetzalcoatlus. While Martin and Duncan are on duty upstairs, Henry's girlfriend and the last living member of Duncan's crew come down. When they get to the cave in the rock, decorated with traces of an ancient Indian civilization, people find the nest of a flying lizard. Since it is easier to take a DNA sample, not from a huge aggressive predator, but from a harmless egg, they scoop up the slurry and folds into the syringe without any extra fuss. In the process, Zora is interested in how their mission will help humanity. Henry admits that the pharmaceutical company will just make a lot of money on the drug, and in order to help all people, they should give samples to those who will not patent research, making them common property. However, scientific research interrupts the return of a disgruntled mother. Although she is not an unshaven man, but the bird still does not like that someone is groping her eggs without asking. They are forced to dodge the predatory beak, while trying to save the capsule with samples. A crew member's well-aimed hammer throw distracts the animal, but puts the extra at risk. He tries to climb up with the help of Duncan, but Quetzalcoatlus, like Spider-Man, sneaks up the steep wall after him, in order to eventually devour the poor wretch. At this time, Henry, due to the tension of the cable, almost falls down from the cave. Zora tries to pull him out, but the man notices a syringe with samples. Trying to get it, it swings on the cable, firm, which it rubs against a stone, and breaks off exactly after the capsule has started up. The paleontologist falls down, but since he is not some extra from the boat crew, the trees below soften the fall to an acceptable speed. Then, the sample descends by parachute, and the surviving colleagues who found the ladder from the top to the bottom. At sunset, the Delgado family arrives by boat to the research base, which is also reached by mercenaries, who have collected a triptych of the necessary samples. Martin says that experiments were conducted here to create mutant dinosaurs. The two groups meet together in the parking lot, where Teresa tells how Martin wanted her to drown. The conversation turns into a quarrel, but the presence of weapons at the pharmacist negates the conflict, especially since the man simply offers to dump everyone together on the promised helicopter. Several mutated pterosaurs interfere with the tedious waiting for evacuation. Because of their attack, people are forced to split up. The Delgado family is hiding in the store. Martin and Zora climb under the car, and Duncan and Henry find the entrance to the underground bunker. Isabella notices an equilops that was following them and feeds it, while the pterosaur breaks through the roof of the store in search of a fresh snack. The girl hides from the lizard in the refrigerator, covering the glass with a jacket. When the father distracted the predator with an abandoned snack, she reunites with her family, after which they promptly hide in the sewer. In the bunker, Duncan studies the map of the complex, thanks to which he learns that there is a boat on the pier. Through the ruined roof, they see an approaching helicopter. After that, Duncan tells the paleontologist to delay the transport until he gathers everyone, not noticing the mutant Distortus Rex roaming outside. At this time, Martin, having discharged the pterosaur's pistol clip, finds the keys to the jeep and drives away with the blood samples, leaving Zora and the others. Hiding in the bushes, the mercenary sees a pterosaur climbing into the sewer system. Realizing that civilians are hiding there, the girl climbs after them. Henry on the helipad, with the help of signal lights, gives a sign to the pilots. The helicopter is about to land, but it is suddenly grabbed by a distort with Rex, opening it like a canned food. The scientist runs back to Duncan, who found Delgado in the sewer. They're all hiding in an underground tunnel. Duncan tells about the boat on the pier, after which they move out through the tunnels there. Martin also goes there in a jeep. Zora bumps into the others in the sewer and shoots the mutant chasing them, killing him. Then they reach the exit of the tunnel, blocked by a lattice, and Sabella squeezes through the bars to open the gate from the outside. But then a six-legged Distortus appears. However, the lizard's attention is distracted by Martin's jeep. While the predator deals with the pharmacist, people run away to the pier. Taking a suitcase with samples, all that is left of Martin, the girl runs after him. While people are trying to launch a boat on a mechanism that has jammed over the past years, Distortus overtakes them. Duncan, remembering the first film, decides to distract the predator with a flare. Brandishing it, he leads the mutant away, throwing himself into the water. While everyone is loading on board and starting the longboat, Zora watches the flames go out in the night. Her last friend sacrificed himself. The survivors in the boat sail away at the moment when the Distortus Rex returns to eat them. The beast growls in frustration, having missed its prey. With a face like that, what else is there to do? It turns out that Duncan survived by escaping from a predator. After taking it, the survivors head to the open sea, away from the dinosaurs, closer to the mainland, accompanied by a flock of dolphins. In the dawn rays, Henry is interested in patterns, something will do with the obtained blood samples. The girl says that they should be made public so that all people on Earth can get medicines. This is where the film, unlike the milking of the franchise, ends.